Guys, we're here to look at this problem that you had on homework by means of looking at another example. So this one here, number 26, okay, we're using the triangle mid-segment theorem, saying that the segment connecting two sides of a triangle is parallel to the third side and half its length, okay? So this is asking you to look at it through a more algebraic approach, and so I'm going to give you an example of that and some more of these problems to do in class tomorrow. So here's our triangle. I plotted out the points, as you can see, okay? And what I want to do is walk you through these so that you're comfortable with it. First off, you've got to remember the midpoint formula, the distance formula, and the slope formula. Okay, so here we go. So it says we plotted out the triangle. It always helps to plot because it helps because you can estimate where those midpoints are going to be and have an idea whether you're on the right path or not. So D is the midpoint of AB. Looks like the origin. Let's just confirm that. So for D being the midpoint of AB, it's A, which has coordinates 1, 4, and B, which has coordinates -1, -4. And of course, our midpoint formula up there, so we add the x coordinates, that's 1 plus a -1 over 0, which of course is, over 0, it is 0, over 2, which remains a 0. Okay, and then 4 uh, plus a -4 over 2, which is 0 over 4. So yes, it confirms that 0, 0 is the midpoint D. Okay. Now our midpoint of the other segment is the midpoint of AC. So here's my point up here, C. And it looks like what's nice about that is for the midpoint AC, again, I got A at 1, 4, and B at rather C at 9, 4. Okay. Now, it should be of no surprise that what's happened is, okay, um, the y coordinate is going to be the same, as you can see right here. So basically, I can save myself a little bit of that and just say it's 1 plus 9 over 2. And of course, you can do it if you want, 4 plus 4 over 2. But then you should be able to see that that's going to lead to 10 over 2, which is 5, 8 over 2, which is 4. So 5, 4 is the point E that I'm after. Okay, so that's done. Now, here's the mid-segment DE. So DE, I want to find the slope of DE. So DE slope is, of course, going to equal the difference of the y's between D and E. So here's my point D right here, and here's my point E. So, and here's my slope formula, right? So it's what? 4 minus 0 over 5 minus 0. So that simplifies to 4/5. And now what's the slope between B and C? Okay, well, between B and C, the slope is going to be, so the slope for D, or just little m for slope, um, slope for BC is going to be, okay, the y coordinate there, which is 4 minus a -4, watch that sign, 4 minus a -4 over 9 minus a -1. So that looks like 4 minus a -4, which is 4 plus 4, which is 8, over 9 minus a -1, which is 9 plus 1, which is 10. That simplifies to 4/5, which is the slope that DE is. So that's confirmed. Now we go in lengths, okay? We want to compute DE length, DE. So I'm just going to write down my coordinates here again, which are 0, 0, and 5, 4. I'm going to use my distance formula here, okay? My distance formula, which is going to be, again, x2 minus x1, so that's simply 5 minus 0, 5 minus 0, which is 5 squared, plus 4 minus 0, which is 4 squared, okay? So then that would give me, okay, here, the square root of 25 plus 16, so that's the square root of 41. Okay, now I might want to find the decimal value of that, so I might go to my calculator and see what the decimal value of that is. So let's bring up the calculator. Square root of 41. Let's make sure that's correct again. 5 squared 25, 4 squared 16. So I need the square root of 41. Okay, so here we go. Go home and figure out the square root of 41. Second root 41, and that is equal to 6.4. So that's 6.4. Now let me compute BC. Now the coordinates of B, again, B is at negative 1 comma 4, negative 4, negative 1, watch your signs, negative 1 comma negative 4, negative 1 comma negative 4, and C, which is at 9 comma 4. Okay, now my distance formula, recall, was at the top there, remember it right there. Okay, x2 minus x1, so that's 9 minus negative 1. You got to be careful about your signs. Plus what? 4 minus a negative 4. x2, 9 minus x1 minus a negative plus, okay? So that's underneath the square root. That's the square root of 10. I mean, that's 10, which is, of course, going to be squared, okay? Plus 8, which is going to be squared. So that's going to be 164. So that's the square root of 164. Now, the square root of 164, I'm going to go back and compute that on my calculator. So I'm going to go here, and I'm going to put in here the square root of, what did we say it was? 164, okay? 164. And the square root of 164 is exactly twice DE 12.8. So that's now been proven. So now BC is equal to 12.8. So I've shown, okay, and this is what you're going to have to do tomorrow. And with that one exercise 26, plot the 3 points, find the midpoints of two sides with the midpoint formula, okay? Compute the slope of the two sides, the mid-segment and the side it's parallel. They should be equal slopes, so that validates that they're parallel. Then compute the distance via the distance formula between the mid-segment between the two found midpoints that you had there, okay? Compute that. Compute the side parallel to it, BC, and then show that one is twice the other. And that's what you're going to have to do with those exercises tomorrow. Okay? Should be all right with it then, right?